All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for waiting for me. I know I'm running a little bit late today, but I can assure you that we have a lot of good stuff that we can cover today. But before we start, again, thank you for joining me on this amazing journey. This is the journey that we are going to travel together in order to have a greater understanding of these amazing knowledge in English. And our mission is to spreading this amazing knowledge to the rest of the world, to every corner of the world in English. And this is the season three of Lit in English, understanding your inner self, materializing happiness. And I'm very, very excited for this season because this will mark the completion of the three reference system, namely the human structure. And we are going to give a very clear definition of the four principle and the three reference system. And those will be the important tool that we will need to take back control of our own life. All right, so let's get right to it. Since we are a little bit late today, but I feel like I have a lot of great stuff that I would like to share with you. And we're gonna going back to the previous two principles because those are extremely important to understand our inner self. Those will be the tool needed to open that door, to open that inner self. And through that, you will have a clearer vision of what you needed to do. All right. So yesterday we went over the third principle, the circle of knowledge. And in the circle of knowledge, it shows us that the uh, the vast knowledge out there, starting from what we know to what we know we forget to what we know we don't know, and even to the information that we don't know. And the importance of understanding this is that we know how to expand our knowledge from interacting with other people. And this is the exact reason that we are here today. We are here today so that we can combine our knowledge, and together we will be able to combine what we know to a larger know. And eventually we will explore the forgotten. We will be able to explore the unknown, and we will be able to make the unconsciousness conscious. And we are able to do that because of the previous principle, which is activating the human brain. And this is extremely important too. Therefore, I want to touch on this very quickly before we move to today presentation, which is on transformation. All right, so activation of the human brain. Why is it important? Activation of the human brain is extremely important because it takes us back millions and millions of years so that we can understand the evolution of us, of how the reptilian brain is still having influences over the way that we think, the way that we do, and how the mammalian brain had influences on the way that we think and the way that we do. And most importantly, as a human, how can we activate the human brain? And this is in and of itself important because it will help us expand our knowledge. It will help us expand the know to the forgotten, the unknown, and unconsciousness. And because the importance of it, I would like to go back to this important information. And again, if you miss out on this information, Check back with our YouTube channel. We are trying to keep it as updated as possible. But this is definitely one of my favorite topic. Go back to season one to listen to it, and season two, and the current season. But just quickly, this very picture here showed the development, the evolution of the brain. And we have the reptilian brain with operation on fear because it can it is very good at survival. And thanks to the reptilian brain, we are doing a better job at surviving because you know what? If we cannot survive, then we cannot live, we cannot grow, we cannot evolve. Therefore, survival is extremely important. And fear is not necessarily a bad thing. If we use it right, it will be able to protect us. And the topic is called activation of the human brain, but we also understand that there is a connection from the reptilian brain to the mammalian brain. The reptilian brain, when activated, it will evolve to the mammalian brain. What the reptilian brain realized that it is easier, it is better to work with each other. Okay, so instead of trying to survive by yourself, the reptile realize that they can have a better chance of survival if they live together, if they help each other survive. And this is the reason that you can see in the animal kingdom, the animals started to live in pack, like a pack of wolf or like a beehive. Or if you look at the ant, they live together, they work together, and it ensures their survival. And because the fact that they are living together, they are able to increase their survival. Doing that, they was able to activating the reptilian brain and having it involved to the mammalian brain. The reptilian brain understand the concept of emotion because they live in together. They have to learn how to work together. They have to learn how to love each other. And once they ensure the survival, they go to the duplication um, because life is all about survival and duplicate. You have to be able to survive and you have to be able to carry baby, pass down the knowledge and the whatever greatest to the next generation. And through emotion, the mammalian brain learn how to master emotion. They learn how to live to a positive emotion. And from that, they are able to activate the mammalian brain and they are able to evolve the mammalian brain to the human brain, which gives us a very important activity, which is the future vision. And that is the exactly ability that can help us expand our circle of knowledge from the known to the forgotten to the unknown. And we will be able to make what was unconscious to us becomes our consciousness. And again, this piece of paper here, it is extremely important. And I'm keep returning back to this because I really want all of us to understand this. And thanks to Jasmine with her question, a very important question about 2 days ago. She asked that all three of these brains are as important as one another. Is that right? And that is exactly right. The reptilian brain is very good for survival. When you're in that survival mode, when you need to make a decision to survive, right? When you are in danger, you have to use your survival instinct. And there's a term called fight or flight. There's also a term freeze, which means when you face in danger, usually people have two options. They can choose to run away or they can choose to fight. Some people they don't know what to do and they freeze. That is not good. When in survival mode, we have to follow our instinct. But the most important thing is we have to be able to understand all three, because when information come to us, if it is if it is danger, then the information stop right there so that we can evaluate to make sure if that information is dangerous or not. Is it gonna help us survive or not? And if that information help our survival, it will move to the mammalian brain, and the mammalian brain will analyze this information to see if this information is going to give us positive emotion or negative emotion. If it's if the information come to us and causes us to feel fear, which is one of the negative emotion, or any other negative emotion, then it will return the information back to the reptilian brain so that the reptilian brain can figure out how to survive with that emotion. But if the information is positive, if the information generate positive emotion, it will go to the human brain, and then we can start to have positive vision, the vision of the future, so that we can materialize that amazing future. And this is extremely, extremely important that we are understanding this, because the world that we are living right now, we rarely have to worry about survival. We rarely have to worry about negative emotion, because the definition of negative emotion is just bad emotion that causes you to fear for your survival. And trust me, that is all it is. You can give it like fancy name, fancy word for it, but it's all boiled down to survival. And during this day and age, we don't have to worry a lot about survival. We have our family member helping us. We have our friends who are willing to help us. We have our community, our country. The entire world is working together to make sure that we have what we need to survive. And understanding that, we no longer have to live under fear. We don't have to 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 live on that anymore. We can focus on the positive emotion. We can choose to be happy. We can choose to have joy. You can choose excitement. And by eliminating negative emotion when we really don't need it. And I have to emphasize on the word when we don't need it. If you feel danger, use it so that you can get out of danger. But most of the time, you don't have to feel fear. And if you can just simply focus on your positive emotion, you will be happy. In fact, you will be happier. And the amazing thing is, through that positive emotion, you will start to have the future vision, a vision of goodness, and you will be able to materialize it. And yesterday I told this story, but I want to tell it again because it is so, so powerful. And I heard this story from my professor, my dear professor, Dr. Tal Ben Shahar. He is the very famous professor in Harvard, and his class, positive psychology and psychology of leadership, are the two most popular class in Harvard. And he recently created a master program in happiness studies. And he told us a story last week about his grandmother on his mom's side. And during World War II, his grandmother and her family were captured and put in a German camp. And all of her family was murdered during that period. But his grandmother didn't lose hope. Even though she in a very bad situation where she had all the right reason to fear for her survival, She had all the right reason to have negative emotion, but she chose to have positive emotion. She truly believed in the vision that she would have a good future. She truly believed that she is going to marry to a good family. She constantly thinking about the bright future that her children will have, that her grandchildren will have. And because of that clear image, because of that belief, because of that positive emotion, which in turn created a very, very amazing future vision, she was able to escape that camp, even though most, if not all, of her family was murdered. There was only her and her sister that was left. But because she was able to have a very positive future vision, she was able to activate that human brain. And the amazing thing is she was able to materialize that positive vision. And thanks to that, my professor mother had a life, and my professor was able to live and learn, and he has made huge impact in the entire world. He touched many lives, including my own. And the power is within you. You have the power to stand above your problem. You can give in to your problem, and you can let the universe influence your fate or your choices. Okay. And I can assure you that whatever challenges that you are facing right now is not going to be anywhere near a person who was captured and who was put in a German camp back in World War II, because most people couldn't make it when people was got got to that camp. They they couldn't keep anything. They lose all. They lose all freedom. They lose all hope. They lose all of their belonging. But my professor grandmother, she was able to hold on to her her thought, her belief, and nobody else can have control over that. And she has such a clear image in her mind that she is going to have a future. She hold on to that, and she was able to materialize that future. And this is extremely important. And this is also the importance of activating the human brain. And on that note, this is my personal belief, okay? Similar to how the reptilian brain was able to activate it and evolve into the mammalian brain, and how the mammalian brain was able to focus on positive emotion and evolve that to the human brain under the right circumstances. We can activate the human brain, and we will be able to acquire amazing knowledge, amazing information. And that's what the circle of knowledge was all about. We will be able to have that transformation from a caterpillar, from a cocoon to a butterfly, and we will be able to expand our knowledge. And how are we going to do that? We are going to do that using the formula of activating the human brain. And that is new lesson, deep understanding. We apply that deep understanding and we find the answer we needed to become enlightened. And I'm keep repeating this, but it is so important because this is the exact formula that the reptilian brain or the reptile used to evolve. They figured out how to survive better. That is that deep understanding, and they apply that and they find the answer how to survive better. They evolve. The mammal or the mammalian brain, they apply the same thing. The lesson is that they can use their emotion. Okay, most of us we can't even control our emotion. We tend to be negative or whatever. Okay, forget about being negative. We focus on positive emotion. We apply in it, and we find our answer to that enlightenment by focusing on positive emotion. And we are going to be able to activate the human brain that we have already evolved in. All right. And then using the same thing, new lesson, deep understanding, enlightenment, we will be able to activate the human brain, and that will open us up to a whole new knowledge. And that is the topic for today. I would like to invite you to get a piece of paper, and let's get to it. This is the last of the four principle, and this is the principle of transformation. The principle of transformation. All right. So how do we transform? How did the reptilian transform to the mammalian brain? How did the mammalian brain transform to the human brain? And I'm using this word transformation very vaguely. Let's go ahead and write the word transformation up here. Transformation. In order to have a transformation, we have to have an understanding of it. Just like how the reptilian brain understood that they need to work together, they need to go together in order to transform to the mammalian brain. Therefore, in order to have transformation, we have to have an understanding. Let's write the word understanding. All right. And in order to have an understanding, okay, we have to have an enlightenment. We find an answer, we apply it, and found a lesson. So it's kind of like going from the bottom up now. So let's go ahead and write that. Enlightenment. Enlightenment. Right, so let's go back to this paper real quick. So the reptile, they have an enlightenment, they find the answer how to survive better. They have a deep understanding about it and they apply it. That is the application. They learn how to live together, work together to increase their survival capability. And that is their new lesson. Similarly, the transformation principles say that you have enlightenment and that gives you great understanding. And from that understanding, you have your transformation. And this is how the reptile transformed to the mammal and the mammal transformed to human. But the big question is, how can we get to enlightenment? How can the reptile realize that they need to work together to increase their survival? and we cannot get to it right away, because if that is the case, then thing would happen overnight, right? The reptile would just evolve to the mammal would just evolve to human, and we as human, we should be able to reach some form of enlightenment, but that doesn't happen overnight. It happened over a very long period of time. And what I'm telling you is that it doesn't have to be that way. It it can happen very quickly if we have enough information. And how can we reach enlightenment? This is one of the biggest questions that all of our philosophers have debating over thousands and thousands of years. And in order to reach enlightenment, there are many, many debates between great thinker of the world, great mind of the world, and they are able to do this through questioning, by asking a lot of questions. So let me write the word question. And this is the reason that questioning is very important, guys. We have to learn how to ask question. And this is one of the reasons I always encourage us to ask any question, because by asking question, we will have a greater understanding of it. We will be able to help our friends to have a better understanding of it. And this is very unique. This is something that I have mentioned at the very first day when we shared the six barriers, because the amazing thing about our mind is that sometime, right? Sometime when we don't even think of it. Let's say we were just doing minding our own business, doing our own things, and all of a sudden we have an idea. We were like, oh, like if I were to do this for my business, it will grow. I will be able to do so well with it. Or let's say if I was to do my homework in this way rather than my old way, I can do it way faster. And those are actually the question that you have, and you might not pay attention to that question, but the answer is what coming to you. And this is the reason that we need to learn how to ask questions, because asking the right question, you will receive the right answer, and you will be able to do anything that your heart desire, as long as you don't let the six barriers stopping you. You have to be able to have the vision. And this is also the power of activating the human's brain, because we will be able to acquire that future vision. And the principle of transformation will help us get to the transformation that we are actually desire. All right. And even though I've been laying this down in the simplest possible way, well, I know this information is new. This can be confusing. And we went over that in the circle of knowledge sometime when I talk about things that I have known, but it might hit your unknown or your forgotten or your unconsciousness. You never even heard of that, but that is okay, because the truth is transformation occurs all the time, whether you like it or not. What we are focusing on is having the transformation that we desire. For example, if I want to have a healthier body, I make a conscious decision of it so that I can get the transformation that I want, which is having a nicer body. Or if you want to have a transformation within your consciousness, with your understanding of your inner self, so that you can materialize your dream, those are what you desire. And understanding that transformation happen all the time, which means that if we don't make a conscious choice, then the transformation that we are having are not what we desire, but we can change that. We can make a conscious decision to have the transformation that we want. And we will be able to do that through questioning. And from questioning, it will lead us to contemplation. Contemplation is what reaches enlightenment. And contemplation, this is this is the bread and butter right here. This is what important right here. Because through this, it will determine the transformation. The right contemplation will give us the transformation that we want. And for transformation, I would like to invite you to write positive and negative. Let's do a positive up top. Versus negative. All right, I can see Jesse writing something here. Can you please make your writing clear? Okay, it's a little bit blurry. Let me double check real quick. I can see okay on my end. All right. Yeah, I will post it on our group after this. What Lord is saying is that we have our questioning at the very bottom, and through questioning, we will reach contemplation, and from contemplation, we will reach some form of enlightenment, and from enlightenment, we reach understanding, and from understanding, we will reach transformation. And the important the principle of transformation is that we know the journey so that we can make the conscious decision to get the transformation that we want. Because if we don't do that, we will get the transformation that we are not desirable, that are not desirable to us. For example, if you can think of anything that is happening to your life right now, if you can think of anything that is indesirable to you. In my case, I wanted to have a nicer body. I want to lose some weight because I'm considered to be overweight. So how did I get here? All right. Because this is not what I want. This is not the transformation that I want, but this is the transformation that I am having. So what is the cost of this? And I can tell you that the cost of this is from the contemplation to the negative contemplation that I have. Because just saying the sentence that I don't know how I am overweight, that is in itself already is negative. Or let's say, why am I not having a good relationship with person A, person B, whether that could be your children or your husband, wife, or your best friend? Like, why am I not having a good relationship with that person? And again, the same answer is the contemplation is negative. And let me give you a clear example on why is that negative. And this is a little bit tricky. This is leaning more toward NLP and the language used, because thanks to the guru and the teacher that I have learned this from. What what taught is that our desire deep within us has to be aligned with our wishes. And a lot of time we are not clear on what we truly desire inside. For example, when I say I want to have a nicer body, I want to lose weight, by saying that, deep inside I already telling myself that I am overweight, that my body is not beautiful. All right. And I see some word here. I think Jesse shared that in some health theory, overweight means you are very rich because you want to accumulate. Uh, that is an interesting theory. But what we want here is to have a nicer body, to be healthier. All right. And recently I learned to use the word healthier. But in the past, I used the word like I want to lose weight. But the point I'm trying to make is that even though you want to lose weight, deep inside, deep in your mind, you actually believe that you are overweight. Deep inside you believe that you cannot be fit, you cannot be beautiful, just by asking that question, contemplating negatively. And I'm going to share with you my successful technique that I have used. So instead of having that negative contemplation, okay, because in the past we don't even know that we was having that negative contemplation. And one of the trick that I have learned, and it's not really a trick, it is actually a very, very powerful technique that I have learned. And that technique is only one word. And that word is more. I think I'm a little greedy on my word. So, yeah. So a better question to ask is, how can I be more beautiful? How can I be more successful? Or another word is, how can I be happier? How can I how can I feel happier? Or how do I have more money? Whatever you desire, whatever you want, just add the word more into it, rather than asking how can you get there? How can you becoming more successful? And this technique is extremely, extremely effective, because when you ask yourself, when you have this contemplation, and this is a positive contemplation, all right? Most people don't even know what positive contemplation is. This is $1 billion answer, because when you tell yourself every morning that you wake up, or every night before you go to bed, let's say if you want to have a better relationship with your children, you can ask the question or the contemplation, how can I have a better relationship with my children? How can I make the relationship better? And saying this, you you programming, you enforcing the belief deep within you that you already have an amazing relationship with your children. You just want it to be better. And that the same can be used for your friends, your family member, your client, your customer. How can I have a better relationship with my customer? Because you know what? having a better relationship with customer, that means that I can make more money from my career, right? And have you noticed the beautiful of the word more? By saying you want more of something, you already admitted to yourself that you already have it. You already acquire it rather than working toward it. Because earlier when I said I want to lose weight, that means I already admit that I am overweight. I already admit that I'm struggle to lose weight. Okay. So forget about being beautiful. I can't even lose weight if I keep saying that. But I need to shift my perspective from negative to positive, and all I have to do is how can I be healthier? How can I have a more balanced meals? How can I eat healthier, and so on. So just this work more will be able to improve your life over time. And I don't know if you ever heard of this, but there is a very famous theory called the 1% theory. And in that theory, they said that if you can just increase your value by only 1% a day, consistently every day, just 1%, not a whole lot, only 1%. If you can consistently do that over a year, you will be able to increase your value almost 38 fold, 38 times over just 365 days. And this is the reason we call the principle number 4 the principle of transformation, because transformation is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. And the way to get there is just one simple word: more. How can I get more of something? How can I be more? And doing that, you will get a better transformation. All right. I don't say the best transformation. How can I get a better transformation? Okay. If you keep that mentality, you will be able to increase the result you want tenfold, 100-fold. And the reason I'm saying this because in the past, I have said that I want to have a beautiful body, and I got there. I did some extreme diet, and I was able to got to the weight that I want. I lost like 10 kilograms in 2 weeks, and I was able to got the body that I want. But the second that I got there, I was done. Okay. I got to my result, and then I fall back to my old habit. And then I gain all of that weight back in a short periods. As fast as I have lost it, I gain it right back. But if I keep the mentality where I want to have a better transformation, and then I want to have a better transformation, I constantly improving. I'm constantly gaining that 1%. And my result will be just getting better and better every day rather than setting a goal. And once you get there, you might fall off track. So this principle of transformation is extremely, extremely important. And what I am providing you here today is a technique that you can use, that you can apply for your entire life. All right. Most people, when they present you these principles, they only give you the information. Okay, like understand this, do whatever you want to, figure out what to do with your life. But there is a very, very important lesson in this transformation principle. And you can exercise, you can practice just one word: more. And let me write it in a different color too, because I don't like how this word turned out. It's not very balanced. You can practice the word more. All right. And and don't believe me on this. Just go out there, exercise it, practice it, and you will see the result for yourself. And the beautiful things about the principle of transformation is that it will help you have that transformation every day. And if you're not getting transformation every day, if that transformation is very little, the important thing is you are not losing, you're not falling backward. You're still able to moving forward, regardless of how small that is. And this is huge because I have talked to many gurus, many successful people, and they all saying the same thing. They say that it is hard enough to acquire, to gain what you have. It is even harder to keep it. But if we can just shift our mentality to just have a little bit more, just having a little bit more, and we're keeping that energy, we will be able to not only keep what we have, but we will be able to grow it. We will have a steady transformation. And this is exactly how we will be able to expand our knowledge. And this is the reason that we are going on this journey together, right? It is extremely powerful because we are not alone. And I'm opening this Zoom. I know that we don't have too many opportunity to communicate, to interact, but just having you here, had your presence here, I can see your video, I can see your chat, I can feel your energy, and together we will be able to expand our knowledge because the transformation of one person is also the transformation of the entire group. And believe me on this. When I share this with our group, I have a greater understanding of this. So it might appear like I'm sharing this knowledge with you, but I myself is a student in this journey as well. I'm also a traveler, and doing this, I will understand it better. And that is what we learn in the activation of the human brain as well. If each day you can find an answer, you can find your enlightenment, you can apply your deep understanding, then your new lesson will become clearer. And over here, I do want to apologize that throughout the first two seasons and throughout my entire journey, I always thought that, you know what, it starts with a lesson. You have to have a new lesson, and then you have a deep understanding of it. And then you become enlightened, right? In Vietnamese, it's called like bài học tập đắc ngộ ra. Today, thanks to everybody here, right? Thanks to all 12 of us here, I have my own enlightenment. I have my own deep understanding. I have my whole new lesson because I realize that we find an answer, we become enlightenment. There's something happen. We asking the right question and we become enlightenment. We find an answer to our question and then we apply it. And because we apply it, we gain a very deep understanding of it. And that is the new lesson, you guys. It actually going from the bottom up instead of the top down, like what I have been thinking. And thanks to you, thanks to everybody here, that I have this realization. And I would encourage you to share this knowledge. All right. Don't just listen to it. Under the right circumstances, I want you to share it with your friends, your family member, or just share this with yourself, in the morning, just If you learn something new today, just look at the mirror and you can tell yourself, you know what, I learned something amazing today, just like what Ben said. Because we all sometimes we have questions and we might not have the answer right away, but out of the blue, we find our answer to the question that we may ask a long ago, maybe years ago. All of a sudden, we have an answer. We become enlightened. We were like, that is such a great idea. That is an amazing idea. And we have to be able to break through our sixth barrier so that we can apply it. And by applying the answer to our enlightenment, we will gain an understanding. We will gain that deep understanding. And from there, it will develop the new lesson. So don't just hear it, apply it, tell people. If you are excited about something, practice it, live it. And then you will have the transformation that you desire. And I hear something very, very awesome today. And actually learned this from Jasmine. She had an amazing Vietnamese presentation today about the six barriers. Yeah, like Paula said here, sharing is the best way to learn, to understand it deeply. And this is proven scientifically. Scientists has did a research and they found out that if you get your student to learn a lesson and ask them prior to the lessons, tell them that, you know what, we're gonna start this in a group of three. And at the end of the lesson, I want you to teach your other two classmates what we have learned. And under that preparation, the student come in a mindset that they go and to have to teach this knowledge again. And doing that, they understand the lesson 200 times more. So it's 200% more effective. And you are absolutely right, Paula. But back to the lesson that I want to share before we end this Zoom call. This is very, very amazing. And this is something new that I have learned from Jasmine, the sixth barrier presentation earlier today. And she go into to have the same, not the same topic, but she going to share again her presentation in Vietnamese tonight, Vietnamese time at 9 p.m. And that will be 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, the U.S. time. But she said something very interesting. Remember this little guy here in the sixth barrier, and you see how like the sixth barrier surrounding him, and is kind of like an egg, right? And we all know that if the impact coming from the outside in, then the egg would become food. But if the force is coming from the inside out, then that will be life. It will be like a chicken. A greater way to think of this is like instead of a chicken egg, right? Imagine this is you, and this is like a phoenix egg. And I don't know if you ever heard of the legend of the phoenix. The phoenix is kind of like a bird, but the beauty of the phoenix is that every time it's die, it's rebirth, and it becomes stronger. It's become even more powerful. And each time it's going through that cycle, it's become greater, becoming more powerful. So instead of the mindset that you're just gonna break through this egg and you're only a chicken, right? Having the mindset of you are a phoenix. And this is an image that I have been carrying with me for years. I just love the idea of the phoenix. And it's fit in so well with today's topic. It fit in so well with the transformation. It fit in so well with the word more, you know. Every time you have the transformation, just like the phoenix, you become a little bit better. And just like the sixth barrier, you know what? Don't worry about barrier. When you see barrier, you already know how to break through it. And if another six appear, no problem. Just like a cocoon, right? You break through that sixth barrier, you will have that transformation to a butterfly, and you can be more strong. You will be more beautiful. So see yourself not just a chicken, see yourself as a phoenix using the principle of transformation and have that transformation steadily. And throughout years of transformation, you won't be able to recognize your inner self. This little guy here, he will grow to be beautiful, to be wonderful. And that is the end of the four principle. And you know what? If you can just understand one out of these four principles, if you can just apply it, these are the four key to unlock your dream life. Okay. If you can just apply either the principle of light, or you can just apply the activation of the human brain, or you can just use the circle of knowledge to expand your knowledge, or you can use the principle of transformation to just have that transformation of more each time. Okay, just one of these four, you will be able to acquire an amazing life. And I'm saying this with confidence because I have seen it. I have seen too many people gain the success that they desire with only one of these four principles. And I have provided you all four. And these are not my knowledge, okay? I would love to take the credit for it, but I learned this from others. And it is important for me to pass on this knowledge. And this is our mission. And I would like to thank you so much for joining me on this mission. And as powerful as these four principles are, in the next couple of days, we will introduce the three semantic reference system. And these three are the foundation principle of all principle. And understand these three semantic reference system, you will have a clearer understanding of the world around you, the human world, even the entire world itself, or whatever specialty or whatever career or field that you are in. You will be able to see it for exactly what it is. You will be able to recognize what you needed to do to advance in your career or to improve your happiness or your relationship. Remember the lit house. If we were to simplify all problem in life, we will have only four categories, and those categories would be the inner self, health, relationship, finance, and we will be able to improve all four of that category. We will be proactive rather than reactive. We will understand clearly what wisdom is, what virtue is, what present is, what nobility is, what our capabilities are, how to get that material, how to have physique, have beautiful body. We will have a deep understanding of all of it. And we're going to use the four principle. We are going to use the three semantic reference system, and our life will be very simple. We will live a very happy life. And you know what? The best thing from all of this is our relation. I am super pumped and super thankful to go on this journey with you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for joining me on this community. And together, we will make this amazing knowledge available to everyone around the world. And thank you so much for doing this. And just like usual, if we don't have any hand raised, don't have anyone to share any lesson that new lesson or deep understanding the application, then I will play a song so we can say bye, and we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the root formula, the very first of the three semantic reference system. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow.